know you were on Facebook. I just sent you a message on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, I barely go on Facebook.
I'll go ahead and tag you though, just so it'll show up. Let's see. God.
Oh,
and
wait,
huh?
you sent me,
What?
sorry, you emailed me the
No,
Zoom
you're
link?
good. Yeah, you're good on the Zoom link. You're good. You got it. I
Okay.
just sent it. I sent it to your Facebook Messenger too when I went and looked, because I didn't know if you could see it. I just tagged you, so we're good. We're live. Are we live? Let's see. Yeah, we're live. Yeah, it's gonna take it's gonna take a couple of minutes before we get some people in here, because we just did a show and we're being suppressed, but that's okay. We can live with it.
Yeah, I'm just happy to, see you and be here and connect.
Me too.
I am trying to join on my computer because my phone might die. So
Okay, go ahead. That's cool. Here, I'll go in and get ready to let you in on the other one. Yeah, it should go right through with that link.
well, it doesn't matter, I guess.
It's not going through?
For some reason, the email you sent, I don't know why it does it. There's a line through the.
Here, let me just go to your Facebook Messenger and just click on that one. Or you want me to send you another one?
This is good. This is good, Todd. We're together, right? We're here. I'm gonna put my phone in.
Here, I'm gonna I'm gonna send it to you again, just in case you decide you want to try it. Oh, that's not gonna work. Oh, I know what happened. I know what happened. Hang on. Hang on, I got you. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, I know what happened. Facebook had a tracer on it, so I'm going to send it back to you on the email. And just to do it again, just in case you want to try it. Boom, there you have it. So it's the same one, but maybe that'll work.
Well,
Okay.
it's quite okay. Here we go.
See how that works.
There's still a line through it. It's fine. This is fine, right?
Do you? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Do you go by? Is it Majah or Maha?
Majah.
Majah. Oh God, I'm so horrible with these names. I should be pretty good after all these years. Majah, Jacob. Okay. All right. Well, let's get started. Thank you so much for coming in. And are you on your laptop?
I'm on my phone, but it's propped up on my laptop.
Oh, it looks good. Looks good. Yeah, thanks for coming in and sharing space with us and agreeing to come in and open up and honoring us with your presence.
Thank you.
I know you wrote me and you talked about how we're exchanging code, and that you have, like all of us, you have certain things happen to you. Everybody's different, but I kind of got the idea that you wanted to talk about a few of those things. I don't know where you want to start. I always ask everybody, have you always been this weird, or did you have a wake up experience? I have a feeling you've been involved for a long, long time.
I'm joining on the other one, so I'm not gonna think about.
Okay. Let's see. Let's turn on the video. Oh. Well, for some reason that one doesn't have a video. I think you're
That's nice. I like that.
Well, you can do that if you want to. I think your camera is blocked. If you go to the bottom left, there's an icon. It says stop video.
Yeah.
If you click on that arrow, it'll give you choices for your camera. You see that?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not detecting that camera. Your camera. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, you know what? Bottom left though, where it says video, make sure there's not a red line across it, because that would mean it's turned off.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what's going on with yours though. There's something else going on.
Yeah, maybe I'm not supposed to put my video on.
Well, that's fine. We can do that. Let's do that.
It's funny, Todd, I teach yoga, right, on Zoom,
Uh-huh.
like a lot, and I'm on Zoom all the time, and this has never happened.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Unless you want to just restart it and come back on, it's up to you. Or if you want to go faceless, it's fine with you. They've already seen your face.
Okay. I'll try to come on one more time.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. All right. Let me see. Let me just engage everybody. Let's see here. Yeah, I think what you'd want to do is just get out of Zoom, restart your computer, go back into Zoom on the link, because then it will hook up your camera.
Okay.
That normally works.
Okay,
How's it going, everybody? Yeah, we'll
Right
wait on
back.
you. No rush. We got 21 people in the house on Facebook. Welcome, everybody. A lot of stuff going on. It's good to see all these familiar faces and some new faces as well. Danielle Walker Tate, Anki Malmquist. Those are new faces I've never seen. Welcome, Diane Moodle. Welcome. Sees a lot of my friends out here. It's another one, Renette Weeweller. I'm really bad with names. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's happening, everybody. Terry, Willette. It's good to see you. Janice LaFontaine. It's good to see you. And Annie Filetsos. It's good to see Millie. Kelly Bird, Divine Roberts, my friend from Sedona, Ivy Crystal. It's good to see everybody. Amanda Summer, Zana, Jana Kozar. Here, let me just remove. Okay. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on, no doubt. Really is. And I'm really excited because here we go. She's back on her phone. She's back. She's coming back. She's making a comeback.
Okay, namaste. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Anytime we have technical difficulties, we always have a great show. We still have plenty of time, so we're great. We started the last show 15 minutes late, and this one 20 minutes late, so that's all right. But I was just saying that, wow, there's so much stuff going on, and it's been really validating for me these last 5 or 6 days to hear people talking about the same thing in a way that I've never heard before, which is like we're getting blasted with energy, and all this crap is coming up to the top to be seen, and we can't blame it on anybody else. We got to do our own shadow work, and et cetera, et cetera. Are you getting this kind of are you having the same type of experience with the energy here recently in February?
Yeah, especially the past moment.
The past moment, yeah.
I'm serious. Right before this, there was a thunder here, like a thunderstorm, and it started raining just the minute before I got on. It's just funny to me. Anyway, now the sun's out, but yeah, no, the feeling is very weird and different. It's like swimming in swimming through energy, and it's kind of fun, but definitely, we're all, I guess, surrendering, right? Like into this huge let go, and go with the flow. And like, Todd, I wouldn't usually do this because I'm a pretty quiet person, and I always have been, but just lately, I guess, just even the past couple of weeks, I think I told you I was dealing with long COVID, which I don't even know what that is, but definitely my body has been not feeling great.
Right.
I don't know if you've talked to other people who are dealing with this. Some people say it's just, it's a part of ascension, and I can totally go with that when I'm in the higher, when I'm feeling most connected. I do feel like we're each, so I come from a yogic background, and my parents are from India. I was born in London. I lived in Australia for a while, which is why I just love Australia.
Mhm.
And so in the yogic tradition, we are all called to embody our light body. So it's not new, right? It's like, it's the oldest kind of goal
Right.
is to embody our light body. And in yoga, we have 5 bodies. The 5th body, anyway, I don't want to lecture, say what everyone already knows, but a lot of people don't know, like with yoga, you have your light body. We all have our light body. It's called the Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss body. So to bring that body into the intellect, into the emotional body, through the, all the crap, all the hurt, all the pain body, the mind, the aura, and then the physical body, it's such a huge task. And if we're doing that now, because I don't know why, because this is the time more than before, maybe, then and I don't know, it just feels like it's escalated.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know, because I'm not a good light worker, as far as like the basics, meditation, all that. Although I have been meditating a lot these last couple of weeks, which has just been an innate or instinctive thing to do. But I didn't know that yoga, because I know there's a lot of different schools of yoga. I know they're all related, and I guess they would have a common thread. But I think from what I'm getting from you, one of the common threads is to embody your light body. And I just find that kind of intriguing, because that seems to be the focus of ascending.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. That's what, yeah, totally.
So really, if you look at the yoga way of life, the yogi way of life, you look at the Essenes, the Gnostics, other schools of thought, and that type of thing, they all talk about the same thing throughout all the sacred texts and everything in the oral histories. But we're in a time, it seems, that all these texts have pointed to where everybody's on the same or headed the same direction with this embodiment. Would you say that's accurate, or is it just some people on that path?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the earth is going there now, Mother Earth, Gaia. And so then whoever wants to and is able to go there with her. And everyone's of course called and welcome, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a great answer to me in almost anything these days.
I feel we're all called there. That's our birthright.
Yeah.
And that we'll all eventually go there. It's just when and how, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have obviously the cultural impact of Eastern, what we Westerners would call Eastern religion or Eastern philosophy, because we all know that spirituality is a totally different game in India as it is here. But you've also lived around a bit. So you've been to Australia, which I still am fascinated by the fact that 6 of the top 10 cities in Soulogy's demographics, which is containing well over 100,000 people, 6 of the top 10 come from Australia, even though it's 9% of the total demographics as a country. So you've been
Wait,
exposed. Go ahead.
you mean what do you mean? 60% of your,
No, in Soulogy's demographics across all the platforms, if you add it up, 6 of the top 10 cities are Australian, or regions,
namaste,
right?
brothers and sisters in Australia.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? I mean, Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, obviously.
I used to live in Melbourne.
Victoria. I mean, they're all there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what I was saying is you've been exposed to quite a bit of stuff. Your soul set up a nice little obstacle course for you to live and gather information.
Yeah.
But it seems to me like you've probably been aware of embodiment and other things through your study and practice of yoga for a long time. When did you get information on a personal level, whatever means it came through, where you said, oh, we're going to be in this big ascension come 2015 or 18 or 12 or 2025 or whatever, we're involved in something worldwide. When did that come into your knowing?
Yeah, so let's see. I had a dream a long time ago. This was in my 20s, where it was like a post-apocalyptic dream. And thank you for letting me share this, because it's so precious. And I know some people say don't share your dreams, or I don't know why, but I love to share about this dream. So my friend and who I was in college with and we were in post-apocalyptic, just rubble, basically. It was just rubble, nondescript. And we were in this cave that was made out of rubble, and this huge, like the size of 2 houses, I don't know, it's hard to put it in size, black jaguar came walking down the rubble. And actually, let me show it to you.
Okay. This is amazing too, because 2 people in the last 5 or 6 shows have mentioned black jaguars.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah. Look at that.
So this is Mentor. And so this is just a representation. I think it's paper mache. My sister found it for me, and I painted. So because the jaguar had pink polka dots on it. And when it came walking down the rubble, basically just this feeling of total bliss and peace came when, prior to that, we were in total misery and dejection because everything was lost and it was a dark scene. So that was a while ago. Then about 20 years ago, I met who I call my guru. Her name's Amasri Kurunamai. And I know many people are saying this is, we're going beyond gurus, and I totally get that.
Right.
But without the gurus, we wouldn't be here.
I agree. Yeah.
Without them. Yeah.
No, I totally get that. And I think that's a really important distinction to make, because we all need mentors. And but I think when people are talking about this time, it's not a slight against gurus, yogis, teachers, mentors. I think it's just that people are moving into a space of self-sourcing and self-empowerment, self-healing. But I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of how I read it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we have. I do. But how are we doing anything ourselves? We never do anything ourselves. We're
True.
Ever. We're part of everything, and our parents, our family, our ancestors, the trees. And so, but this is Amasri Kurunamai, known.
Oh yeah, she's on the wall behind you too, isn't she? Is that her
Yes.
behind you? Yeah.
Yes. So
And-
I just.
Yeah. And where's she at, in India?
She's in India. Yeah, she's in ashram in India. I've never been to her ashram. I've been to India a few times, but never there.
Have you met her in person?
I've met her. My husband and I are actually city organizers when she comes to Philadelphia.
Oh, cool. You're in Philly.
So
You're,
we help in Philly, and
yeah.
so that's a big thing. She hasn't come for the past few years, with the pandemic, and I don't know if she's going to come this year. But having a guru is different from being involved in an organization, because an
Right.
organization is tricky. Honestly, it's a little tricky to navigate all the
Right.
things, and because I actually do a lot of my own stuff and try not to get too caught up in the mishmash of or the organization, because I mean, even Amma says, like, just you do your, and she even says, don't even listen to me, listen to your heart,
Yeah.
and don't do anything I say. And she doesn't even say I'm your guru. She says I'm your mother, because we all need, she calls us babies, like she
Right.
just says,
This sister, your guru, she seems to carry similar energy, doesn't she, to Alma?
my sister.
I mean, this lady, your guru, that's on the wall there, the one
Yeah.
you showed the picture of, she seems like she carries that type of energy like Alma.
Yeah, she is. She's the same person.
Okay.
The same. So
Yeah.
she's still in her body. And maybe she'll come this year. Maybe you can meet her if you want. I mean, not everyone's called to meet her. We all have our own path and our own darkness or whatever that we have to, because meeting a guru, you're literally, so you're stepping into this light. It's like taking a psychedelic
That's
medicine.
what I've heard. I've heard that.
It is. It's very similar to taking plant medicine, where, when you're in her presence, you're seeing, and it's different for everyone, but for me, it was not easy, just to see all my projections, all my judgments, all my fears. It's reflected. It's like this big mirror.
Yeah. I wonder how many Almas and this person, these types of people are actually walking the earth.
Yeah. I
Because
know
I've heard that. I've known, I've talked to quite a few people obviously over the years, but I remember a couple of occasions specifically where the person went to India, I believe, and we're just talking about the master was like in a chair, and there was a bunch of people in a line, like you would see with Alma, and as he got closer, that's what happened to him. Like he started crying, and he didn't, he was seeing things, like he was hallucinating, and the master, in that case, the master actually, I guess, appeared, at some point appeared later on, or, so there's something to that.
Well, so Amma, when I went to see her, she appeared to me like this.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that was in my inner, it wasn't like physically to say, but kind of physically, because she has this braid, very long braid. And she was wearing that pink color sari, and it was like mentor. I had named this being mentor. And then her braid was like the tail. Anyway, she's also come in my dreams, Amma Sri Karunamai, and told me, said certain things. It's like, what do they call it? Clairaudient, where you hear things I didn't know what it meant because it was in Sanskrit. But then I would look it up and be like, oh, like, so for me, that's like confirmation, you're on your path.
Right.
But one thing I wanted to share about Amma, because I think a lot of people, I don't know, there's some people think like with a guru, maybe it's like a closed energy system. But of course it's not. But so, because one thing, so for Amma was coming, for maybe 10 years or so. And we would plan the day. She'd come for 2 days, usually a weekend. The first day she does blessings, like what you said, she puts her hand on your head and you can write on a card what you like help with, because you can't really talk to her because we'd be there for days, right? So people would just write on an index card and it would be handed to her. And maybe
Wow.
she'd say something to you, but maybe she wouldn't. Like the first time she didn't say anything to me. She just blessed me. She kind of looked at me and shook her head, which had to do with something.
Wow.
And but she didn't say anything, but I was just like burst into tears. But so then the next day, the second day, she does a meditation retreat, which is wonderful because she just teaches people how to meditate, just simple, pranayama and mantra. And anyway, so then one of the last times she came, and I just like to share the story because it's so huge, especially now. So often she would give a teaching, right? And sometimes it was about diet, right? Ayurveda, what to eat, when, like even what color foods to eat on what day, what color clothes to wear. Like today's Tuesdays for Mar Day. So she says it's good to wear red. So just like stuff like that, which is really awesome. But it can be a little not, anyway, not too much fun because it's a little, tedious. Like eat this and don't eat that. But anyway, one year she but it's important. But one of the last years she came, she put up all these slides of what we call UFOs, and it was technical drawings of like a whole bunch of slides of technical drawings of what we call UFOs. She was calling them flights. Flights, FLIGHTS.
Right.
And she said, she's like, oh, so just very casually, she was just like, and I'm looking around at everyone like, is everyone else seeing this? This is like awesome. And she's like, babies, these are still here. And she talked about how, who is it, Wilbur and Orville?
Yeah,
That
the Wright brothers.
the Wright brothers, that they were actually in touch with the rishis. She said the rishis designed all these. The rishis are still here. She said you just have to build the receptor in your heart.
Now, who for me, the not good light worker, who are the rishis? I've heard that before. Who are the rishis?
The rishis are the light beings. Okay. They're like, so some people think of them as they're stars, right? They're some people call them like the 7 stars in the Great Bear.
Okay.
So they are self-realized, really high beings that actually, they are the ones that are attributed to, divining yoga and then giving it to the yogis. Right. They are the ones that helped to create the whole Veda, all the Vedas and everything, which I'm not really, I don't know enough to talk about, but
now let me ask you this, because I don't know any of this, this is fascinating. Now I have read and researched quite a bit on the Vedas and I don't know the other name of the other book, but where they talk about the history. They talk about the flying machines. They have a specific name for them. They talk about the
pushpakas.
And then they talk about the apparent nuclear war or nuclear weapons that were used, which they have found evidence of this.
In Australia.
Oh, in Australia.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that, Todd, because actually, Amma said recently, this was over Zoom. This was like a couple of years ago, early when the pandemic started. She met with us on Zoom, and for some reason she brought up when they had the the epic fight of with Krishna and Arjun, which was where the Bhagavad Gita came from. That's called the Mahabharata. That's the
Right.
whole epic tale of that huge battle. Well, that's when that, I forget the weapon, the Agnihotra or something. She said that they can be found, the relics, the remnants of that weapon can be found in Australia.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow, because I've also followed, Australia's Forgotten Origins.
Evan,
Stephen.
Evan
Yes.
and, okay, yeah, the Strong, father and
Yeah.
son, last name is Strong. Yeah, yeah.
Do you follow them a little?
I've had him on the show before.
Okay.
But I have seen a couple of other videos that they've been involved with. I'm familiar with their work. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, to me, that was like, wow, when Amma said that, because I think Australia's history goes a lot further back than we know yet.
Oh, absolutely it does.
And
Absolutely it
also,
does.
and Valerie Barrow,
I don't know that one.
she did all the work at Gosford Cliffs.
Okay. Okay. In
She
Australia.
Yes, she
Mhm.
recently passed, but yeah, Gosford Cliffs has all those like hieroglyphics.
Right.
That's amazing what her what
Yeah.
the information that she has left.
I think so much of this is important. We've picked up a lot of information out here, right? Through our own methods, channeling, downloads, visions,
Yeah.
trading information, future memories. But I have a feeling, I was talking to Morgan about this a couple of days ago, that the biggest coding is going to come from our recent past, like going back 10,000 years or even further maybe, but because there's one story through the whole story that's kind of been hidden, right? Or kind of been suppressed. So it's I find it really interesting to like take the Indian historical content and put that up against, because put that up against what happened in, let's say, in the Holy Land, in the Middle East, the Christian Holy Land. I would just love to sit down with people that are well versed, like you are, I guess. What is Amma? What do the Indian culture think about spaceships? What do they think about the underworld? What do they think about the Egyptians? Is there a relation? Because you're mentioning this lady's work, and I've done enough research to see that, for one thing, they have Egyptian hieroglyphs, not just in Australia, they've had them in the Grand Canyon in Arizona.
Yeah.
So there just seems to be a bunch of things that have been kind of removed, but yet there's little traces, almost like we're connecting the dots, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hopefully we'll get some revelation soon.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the most important thing, right, is for us to just keep going more inward. I mean, lately, especially, I've noticed, like, I don't know why, but well, it's winter, but it just seems like dark out. And like when I close my eyes, there's much more light inside than there is when I open my eyes. So that's nice. That I don't know. I just feel like the more we go inward,
Right.
It's going to be better.
I don't think we're going to have a choice, are we?
Right.
It doesn't look like we're going to have a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
call it shadow work, call it whatever, but it just seems like there's a direct connection. And I know people have wake up experiences, don't get me wrong, but there just seems to be a direct connection between, I guess you would call it shadow work, but I kind of call it the brutal honesty of the soul. It's a conversation I said, because I believe I'm embodied. My soul's here. That doesn't mean I'm perfect. Doesn't mean I don't have shadow or unconscious programming. So when I sit down, I guess I step out as a human being and I have this conversation, right? And a lot of that recently has spoke to continue to look at your shadows, continue to pull everything within yourself. If you are judging someone or referring to them with a specific label, turn it around on yourself until you are that too, right? Until you are that too. And it's taught me a lot. When you start to take these labels and dark archetypes and claim them, and kind of the way I came through it was like, okay, let me get this straight. So I may not have done exactly what I see that person doing, but I am that. And I'm understanding all these masks I had on are not me. And this is a real me in here, but those are part of me too. And I can't ever separate myself in the regard that everything is me, right? Especially those things that I have experienced and done and thought and all that. How do you think we're doing as a world?
I don't know. I don't know. The last I know you're fasting right now, right?
Yes.
So that's always intense, right? And
yeah, I did it 2 weeks ago, and I didn't tell anybody. I told Morgan, but I mean, it lasted almost 4 days, which may not sound like a lot to people.
No, that's yeah.
But I realized that when I was going into it, it was almost like automatic pilot. My soul was telling me you're going to go do this, and then I had a bunch of validation. Now this time, going into this week, it's almost like I know I can go further because there's so much more involved. It's not just about drinking water and not eating food. There's so much more that's going on. And so I haven't had a lot of experience doing this, but I feel things falling away. And I feel like this process of fasting for, a few days is helping me do that. So, for things to fall away, programs, unconsciousness, let's say I'm not seeing something in myself, things my body's telling me to do, things my body's telling me I need to eat or not eat, addictions. I mean, like, I just feel it. I can't verify it. I can only speak from, what you brought up. But I like the fact that you answer questions when you don't know, I don't know, because, and I really feel like that's really what people are kind of like pointing out about this whole guru thing. There's a big difference between, I think when they're referring to a guru, it's those people that they're different than an Amma. They're teachers, yes, but they're not quite at the frequency band that an Amma is or she is. That's different. That's an adept, right? That's an adept. That's somebody who, whereas I think what people are referring to with that is where they're giving their power away. You're not giving your power away. You're not giving your power away. You're talking to someone.
She won't let me, really.
Right.
Because I've tried, I've tried to be like the good girl, or whatever. And she just kind of looks at me like, come on.
Who are you trying to fool? Who are you trying to fool? Right. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for it.
It's so sweet, really, that she cares enough, that she would do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I met a guy from, I've had him on the show a couple of times, from Australia, and he was about 19 years old. And I don't know if he was hitchhiking or if he picked up a hitchhiker or something, but ends up picking up this man who was an Indian adept. and who told him, you got to go to India and you're going to go in an ashram, you're going to live there for 8 years. And the guy's like, what the hell are you talking about? But he went over there, went to a couple of ashrams, and at one of these ashrams, he met the person who materialized in Australia.
Oh, wow.
And
Was it Sri Kaleshwar?
no, I don't know who the master was, but I can't remember the guy's name, Brian. He's an Anglo guy. He's really cool. He's written some books, but my question was, have you had those types of experiences? I think it's one thing to have an experience with a soul that's not in a physical body, because I think many of us have, but it's another thing to have an experience with a soul that's still in the body in another part of the world. And I just wondered if that's something that you've come across personally, or people that you've come into contact with. Because it's a lot of it seems to be around, the older, like the Vedas, the Indian, Hindu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, many, like, they can all, whatever, bilocate and trilocate, and like, but not physically for me, just in dreams.
Okay.
Which are more than dreams, they're like, they're
Yeah.
not, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Where they actually are visiting you, but their physical body's not there.
Yeah. And I wonder, in your opinion, I wonder if this is going the way some narratives say, which is that there will be many Ammas and many Jesuses walking the earth, as opposed to a few in a different, in any period of time. But I wonder if many people will be able to do the bilocate, the trilocate, the teleportation, and all that as this collective energy continues to expand. What do you think?
I think so. I do think so.
Okay.
I think that's where we're going. That's where we're called. Amma says that. Jesus says that. They want us to even do what they've done and more. So that's a lot. But I feel like, yeah, we can do that if we do that. Yeah. So did I want to share this because
Yeah. Can you tell me though? I want to, yeah, definitely. But before we get off today, I want you to tell me what that picture is below her with the two fingers in the sun. But not right now. Not right now. You tell us your story.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
is that?
That is a man and a woman with a lot of symbols, and it says we belong.
I
just love it. I got it from my husband, actually, as an artist in the Bahamas. He made that.
I like that. That's really cool. Now, what were you going to tell us?
Well, the last time I fasted, in the Vedic tradition, there's a festival called Navaratri. Nava means 9, Ratri is nights. So for 9 nights, it's a celebration of the Divine Mother. So my dog is having I don't know if you can hear him.
You need to go tend to him? Go ahead.
My husband's here. I'm just wondering, because he had to go to the vet this morning. But so I try to do that every year, and it's intense, because it's a lot of, and you don't have to do it, but I mean, I want to do it, and I'm more and more, I'm like kind of loosening up, where I just like, because it's all about love, right? And even Amma says, just love the love. Well, how do you love the love, especially if you're not feeling loving? If you're going through a hard time or something, it's hard to maybe get to that feeling, like loving the love. And like, I know for myself, I grew up, I had major depression, and I ended up in the mental hospital for like a long time, and really they couldn't help, because it wasn't something they could help. It was a spiritual whatever crisis,
Right.
but
Right.
I was young, and that's when I was just like realized I had to just follow my breath. And because my parents weren't into yoga,
Oh, they
my dad,
weren't.
no, my dad's an Indian Jew. They call them Indian Jews because a lot of the Jews went to Bombay in, I think, the 1800s from Baghdad.
Okay.
And my mom is like part Gypsy, we think, because she is Romanian. Her father worked on the railroad in India, and her mom was like Nepalese. So, but
Okay.
they didn't do anything. So it was just when I realized like, oh, like nothing's gonna help me, and they tried every drug and everything. And then I just realized I'm just, I was in the hospital. I just started following my breath and was like, okay, just connecting and to that energy, that life energy. And that took me on, this path to where I am now, which, I still, deal with whatever, like, life. And sometimes I guess I'm saying I'm not always in that love. I have to get there. So I use chanting, a lot of people use chanting, which is great and effective, and pranayama, alternate nostril breath,
Yeah, I've heard of that.
simple breathing, to clear the mind. It balances the hemispheres, and it literally clears the mind. So it drops you out of the mind into the heart and into the moment. So what was I saying? So yeah, the last time I fasted, sometimes I'd get something. And I guess I want to share this because I'm not sure why, but because I've been hearing things people are saying, and maybe it's a divine play. It's just part of like Amma's, her Leela, where she plays with us, because all I got that time, literally, because I had fallen asleep and I woke up my whole body, but not just my physical body. In yoga, like we were saying, there's 5 bodies, right? So it was more like my other bodies, everybody except.
Uh-oh. You're back. You got, hang on. You're good. You just have to unmute. You're good.
Okay, am I here? I'm here.
Yeah.
So
So everything woke up but your body, but the physical body?
everybody except my light body.
Oh, except your light body.
Well, my
Okay.
light body was watching,
Okay.
and I woke up, every cell in all my bodies was screaming help.
Really?
Like it was, yeah. And I, oh my gosh, I totally did not expect that. So I didn't even know like who to tell, because no one knows what to say and wants to really hear that, because it's like, because then I'm just like I told my husband, and it's like I call him Babu. I'm like, Babu, am I gonna die? And so like since then, which actually that was a couple years ago, it's like, okay, so I'm gonna die at some point. But then it was like, but are we all? Was it like a collective help? Like, is this
Yeah.
preparing us for something? Because it was almost like you were being smothered, or it was just that. It was just help, it was just like, and I don't know. I mean, I still don't know. But so then the divine is like, just okay, just go with it, like live every day like it's your last day.
Right.
And that's so since then I'm just like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do, Ma, like. So, and also it's kind of gives you some um not comedy, but you have to make a comedy out of it, right? It's like almost funny. It's like,
Yeah.
because you have to laugh.
Well, if you, I mean, I think that's one of the things. If any of us can embody just the awareness, it will alter our perception. In other words, I'm very biased for the human being. I love the human being. I think it's a fantastic part to be playing, but at the same time, I know I'm not just a human being, and that
Yeah.
whatever threats or purported threats or illusionary threats, and I think you're bringing this up, and because it's been coming up with me. In fact, last night I said to myself, ultimately, as I connected and everything, and it kind of like was winding down, I'm going to live every day like it's my last. Not because I'm scared, but I'm going to tell the people I love them,
Yeah.
whether they think I'm 3D or not. I'm going to thank people, be great, and have gratitude, which is something I've really worked on the last few months, is try to have gratitude affirmations in the morning. And it does alter my day. It makes it just 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. But God, what was I getting at? Oh, like, yeah. And here's another thing I'm picking up with you, which again, I'm kind of in there right now. It can't be just me and you. It's got to be in the water, so to speak. Like all this talk about a flash and the 26,000 cycle, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of things we could look at, but and there's all this like, how's it going to happen? And we got to do this, and you got to do that, and then I get this cosmic laugh, and I just see like this tsunami and an earthquake and hurricanes, and just something hits the earth, and I've got me to wonder, because if you look at the history we can get our hands on, there's pretty good evidence that star family, rishis, whatever it is, has come down at different times, lived with us, taught us things, and then leaves. And there's these catastrophes like the deluge, where everyone writes about. How did all these parts of us physically survive it? Because they did. Not everybody, but some people did. So I wonder, it's kind of a joke, like, okay, what the big flash or the big solar flash and all that. And I think, you know what? We could be burned like that. We wouldn't even know. But I wonder if there's something happening to us, at least potentially alchemically within ourselves, that we're no longer, we're able to align with anything, even if it has strong physical properties like fire, right? Or something. Like, I don't know. It just, to me, it feels like something supernatural to us anyway, like, from our experience, is coming, or it's here. And that we might see things that will be very extreme, but our abilities and skills and sensitivities will be coming into acute awareness and function at the same time. Like in other words, we're getting smarter, but the stuff's getting deeper, but we're getting smarter. Like, I don't know. But I have a laugh with that sometimes when I get too caught up in, oh my God, this is what's going to happen, and da 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 da.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or have you spent much time in India?
Not a whole lot.
Not really. Yeah.
Just vacations, really.
I was just curious if and you may not know, what do people in India think about the Western world? Because I would imagine in India, they're where spirituality is prioritized in their life. I would think they might have a little different perspective than us. But what do they think about the Western world? Do you know?
I have heard, and I know we, you know, can't really generalize, but I know what you mean, because in general they do, I think like they have this saying, like it's I don't know it in Sanskrit, but it's a blessing to be born in India. Like
Yeah.
India's vibe is so sweet, really. Even
Yeah.
though there's so much poverty, like the people are smiling because
I've heard. Yeah.
they love God, they love
Yeah.
the love. And to me, it's like, how can, when I saw them when I was young, I was just like, oh my gosh, coming from here. But yeah, they were always smiling, and they were like this, so sweet. And so they think kind of it's not a huge blessing to be born in, to be in the US or to be in the West,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I know Amma says whenever she comes, she's like, oh, all my baby sages. She's like, I see everyone here. They honestly want the truth, and they want love, and they want God. They're crying out for this. That's why I came, she says, because
Yeah.
we were swimming in darkness or materialism. And she says whenever that happens, God will come, because we need it. Yeah.
What now? I guess I don't know if I had the pronunciation right, but the Kaya Yuga, the 26,000 cycle.
Kali.
Kali, yeah.
Oh, Kali. Yeah.
Kali Yuga, yeah. I was doing some research these last few days too, which is weird, about these subjects. And I was reading and listening to the text of Plato when he was relaying his ancestor who had gone to Egypt, and they were told about Atlantis and stuff, but there was some more stuff in it which had to do with the precession of the equinox, and had to do with a description by another writer about, I guess you would call it like end times, but they were describing the celestial event and how it impacted the earth and such, to kind of like point to the possibility that it's all just a constant cycle. Like, this isn't the end of time. This is just the end of a cycle, and it starts again, right? And we go through this whole. Is that something that people in the Eastern culture follow, or do they follow a more black and white doctrine, like, let's say, Christianity?
I know. Well, they talk about the yugas, like you said, the Kala yugas, where there is, I don't know if it's 26,000 years. I'm not sure exactly how long it is. But I know, like, so a lot of people say we're in Kali Yuga, right?
Right.
The dark. But then there's that opposing, like, we're in the Aquarian age, which is ascension. So then how does ascension fit into Kali Yuga?
Right.
So, like, maybe it's the joining of the polarity, and I don't know. But I did see, I did have a thing where I did see that we all became sons. Like, we all became, it was just this picture that I actually drew, but I can't find it. But it was just all these, remember those stickers? They were different color smiley faces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of bright blue, bright green,
yeah.
bright orange. It was just like that. It was just like all these different size and color smiley faces in a sky. And like, it was an inner kind of inner help, showing me, okay, this is where we're going, and like everything's ultimately going to be okay. So anyway, that's what I've seen. Because, well, Amma also has said, actually recently, she did an interview back in 2012. It's on it's actually interesting. It's called Soul Journs. Have you heard Soul Journs?
Is it a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's,
have a long time ago. I
yeah.
remember that. I remember that. I'm gonna
He,
look it
he
up.
did, he did a wonderful interview with Amma in 2012.
Okay.
Um, and cause she's asked a lot, you know, like, what do you think of ascension? And she kind of just laughs because she just laughs a lot anyway. And she's just like, cause she's like, you're asking this of Mahamaya, you know, Mahamaya is just like, she was just laughing. And then, but she said, babies, when you're in your heart, you are in the golden age. You're always in the golden age. So she kind of said, she didn't really, she doesn't answer the question in the linear timeline because she's not going to do that because it's the
Right.
eternal moment. But the more people who drop into our heart, right, and live from there, then we'll be okay. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Ama Sri Karunamayi.
Yeah,
Now,
Karunamai.
but is that the same Ama as Ama?
Well, then there's Amaji. Amachi is the hugging Ama.
Yeah, okay, okay. That's the one I was thinking of. I didn't realize they were both named Ama. Okay, I got you now.
Because
And then,
Ama just means mother. So
okay, okay. Mhm. So yeah, because I have a friend of mine who's very much into this, and because she shared with me the Sai Baba,
yeah,
and then there's a couple other ones. I'm looking at this channel, which looks pretty remarkable. The soldiers.
yeah,
Looks,
funny,
I'm,
right? Soldiers
I'm,
and Soulogy.
yeah, I'm going to come back to it and see if I can, maybe I can reach out to that channel and see if we can get some, we can have a little show or something. So, wow, this is fascinating. Because I don't, I always wonder too, because I mean, we have, I counted one time, and it was like 79 countries or 85 countries or something. So, we have threads everywhere with Soulogy, but I always wonder because most of it is going to be the demographics are going to be US, US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Europe, right? And the biggest countries would be Canada, UK, US, Australia. But there's always these little pockets. Like there's a bunch of people in the Philippines, so there's a bunch of people in Eastern Europe. But I always wonder how they view the ascension. But I would imagine that in India, they would be more likely to view it like Amma in a non-linear personal way. Because I wonder too, that's why I asked you about the Kaya Yuga, if I said it right. Because I wonder sometimes, because I know technology's out there, we know this. We know things have been hidden, whatever. And I just wonder sometimes, is ascension itself a program? And that's what I mean with the cosmic laugh. Like maybe it's just a big joke and we're getting all serious about nothing. I don't know. I mean, you hear these stories and these narratives about we got to fix everything and this is wrong and that's wrong. Yet at the same time, I can go to this higher perspective and it's not a cliche and it's not bypassing. It's just knowing that, hey, I'm a soul and all these other characters are souls and we're all playing different parts. We're all the same, whether we like it or not, kind of thing. And I just wonder sometimes if ascension, or I'm not going to say ascension itself, but that like Jesus's life, ascension has been kind of bastardized and utilized for other motives, right? I just wonder.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like everything is, unfortunately, but I guess it's okay as long as we keep looking inward and I feel like with that energy, Todd, that we're like talking about, that's kind of recent,
Uh-huh.
that's kind of, if we're open to it, it's going to take us on a wild ride, like do things maybe we're not used to doing. And you know how they say, like, I think Ramona Lapin and Adi, do you know Adi Green Tara Guru? like a lot of some people are, they have such a strong connection, really like a daily connection, that I find helpful, just inspiring, like pep talks. And
right.
you know how they're talking about the dragon energy, the feminine dragon energy of Mother Earth coming, and like somehow we have to, I know, like somehow we have to ride the dragon, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
not even sure what that means, but I've heard it, and I feel it, I feel like, oh, that's going to be fun. And we're doing it now, so I do feel like every day, like when we get off the call, I go out in the forest and with my sister, and we just sit with our bare feet, and for as long as we can, we just sit and maybe pray. She does qigong, and so that's so important right now, like you always say, because we're exchanging codes with Mother Earth, not only each other, but like we give codes to Mother Earth. Mother Earth gives codes to us.
I agree.
And hopefully, like, even I know Amma says, when our heart chakras open, see, I'm looking forward to, this is my goal. I want to be able to talk to the trees, and the flowers, and the elementals. Like, I know a lot of people see them. I don't see them. I leave them little gifts all the time, and I get feelings, but I want to be able to talk to them and just like, hey, what did the mushroom say, or whatever, like how can we live in harmony and unity with Mother Earth, and have some fun, and create harmony and peace where everyone has what they need, food and shelter and whatever. Like, how can we do this? We have to do it with you. So I want to hear from you. So anyway, that's my prayer. And
it's a good prayer. Yeah, I really was talking to the guest before, who had some pretty good intel. She's really lit, very reserved, like you didn't want to come on, but like, I just think there's a lot more people awake, if we're going to use that word, than we think. Because like she was saying, there's a lot of people that are, but they don't want to tell you they are. Like, they're not brave enough to come out yet, in a social, you know what I mean? Because you know how it is when people wake up in these communities, the next thing you do, they'd be posting, nobody's listening to me, my family hates me, they think I'm crazy, and most of us have been psych wards and jails, or both, I mean, so there's that whole delineation from the norm. But I just wonder, I wonder about how many people are awake, and I often wonder to myself, or think to myself, we're not giving ourselves enough credit. Like the work that we've done as human beings, even one major program being brought into alignment within your vessel that opens your heart more, let's say, that's a powerful contribution to the collective, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely, I do. And I do think more and more people are waking up, because like you said, they have to, we can't. I mean, I think of my son, he's 21, and their generation, and like he's starting to meditate, and I'm just like thrilled, because it's got to be weird for them, I don't know, but he has a good attitude. And school actually made them read this book. I'm not going to remember the name, but it was so good, Todd. It was like, how, I don't know, like maybe I grew up thinking like, oh, we're all going to die, like the world with just, Earth changes and pollution, just with water pollution and water scarcity, or but they read this book. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name, but it was giving all the facts, and it was actually not as grim. And
Right.
and I was like, wow, Bodhi, that's great. Like, can you educate us? Because some of us are a little bit like fell into this, like, we're all doomed, but not that I feel like that, because I know on some level we're all becoming stars, but on some level it's like, oh gosh, what's going to happen with the earth? Seeing all the movies like Chasing Water or Chasing Ice and
Mm-hmm.
Chasing
Well,
Coral,
yeah. I mean, maybe we're not going to be eating food, period. Maybe that, you know what I mean? It's so, and you have to stay open. You really do. You have to stay open to anything and everything, because otherwise it's not faith. Otherwise there's an element of fear. I mean, I think part of, well, I mean, we know this. I mean, the Project Bluebeam, Agenda 23 or whatever it's called, the idea being to introduce a single worldwide religion, or that trajectories, because people tend to latch on to something like that. You know what I mean? That's been a way but I really feel like that our level of intelligence and discernment is much higher than we think, and that as things that are more distorted get put before us, we're going to know the difference.
Yeah, we're not going to fall for that, and they're not going to fall for that. The younger generation certainly not going to fall for that. Do you follow Patricia Cota Robles?
Yes, I don't follow her religiously. I've had her on the show twice, and I do occasionally listen to her weekly vlog.
Because you know how she says it's the changing of the guard right now. Did you hear her? I think it was for the end of the year or the beginning
changing of the guard. No, I didn't hear that. I don't recall. Go ahead.
Well, it's just that because now, like the younger generation, she's actually asking for if we know any younger generation people. And actually, I was thinking, because I saw you interviewed Elsa yesterday, and I know she has children that are the younger gen. Because Patricia Cota Robles, she does the annual Congress of Illumination in August,
right?
And she's asking for some younger representation.
Yeah, she ought to talk to Mary Rodwell. Mary Rodwell's got a whole network of kids. I'm watching that really close, and I heard something today when I was trying to land back on the planet, and it was Dolores Cannon, and I hadn't heard this video before, but it's where she talked about the first, second, third wave, which I've heard before, but specifically the third wave, and that, if I'm not mistaken, were anyone born from like end of the 90s, 2000, like 2000, 2001. And so what she was saying was that those very much, it felt like what you're saying, like what Patricia Cota Robles was saying, like there's a changing of the guard. But she was saying that where the first two waves came in, these were space holders. These were people that anchored and then held the light, sustained the light, so that when the third wave came in of these young people, they would have that already in their favor, and that they were different than the first two waves because they were a wave that was actually going to take actions of an extraordinary measure. And so basically the video that I was watching, the person that put it up was saying that time is now. And I remember
wonderful.
I remember in 2012 when I was given, in the linear timeline, because it was long before that, this all started with Soulogy, but they told me then, which I didn't know any of that, and they said, you're going to really bust your butt for 10 years and then the kids are going to take over. So I knew at the time that meant not Soulogy. I knew that meant the energetic force of these young people, which you would think theoretically would only get bigger and stronger and more impactful, because as the years go by, more and more of them are born, and they're not tainted, right? Like you said, they're just not going to do it. They're not going to do these stupid things that we've been trained to do.
Yeah, hopefully, unless they, because there is a high suicide rate also.
Well, yes, but there's a high suicide rate in many categories, from what I understand. Like I think there's a lot more people leaving than we know, than we're being told. But yeah, that's true, and that's very true. Actually, a lot of these young people are choosing. They can't. Well, just like so many of the people that come on the show, I'm not from here. I don't want to be here. Why am I here? I don't like having to eat and go to the restroom and take showers. I mean, they're just totally not. But yeah, God, there was one other thing you were saying. The kids. I can't remember now.
I just want to encourage, anyone if they're having a hard time, because, and you can reach out to me too, because I've, gone through it, and I still have to maintain, my balance.
Right.
So I'm just encouraging you. Some of the best things we can do, like you probably know, is if you have the energy to greet the sun in the morning.
Yeah.
Go outside and let the rising sun rays hit the body, and maybe even be barefoot, even though it's winter, or maybe it's not where you are, but and just doing that is good for all the bodies, right? That we're talking about, the mental body, the intellect, the emotional body, the aura.
Okay, so okay, yeah, and that's a great idea, and that's something I didn't do for a while, and it took a toll on me. But I wanted to ask you, what are the 5 bodies? So you said there's the mental body, the intellect.
Okay, I'm going to go from the most inner one, which is the one we're calling to embody the other bodies. The innermost one is the light body. It's called the Anandamaya Kosha, which means the bliss. Ananda is bliss.
Okay, so
Maya.
let me get this in my head. I've always considered the light bodies out here, but what you're saying, but what you're saying makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
It actually makes more sense to me that the light body is the core of me, which actually follows some of the information I got in the last couple of days of my own communion. But go ahead. So there's the light body is the core, and then what?
The second body is called the Jnana Maya Kosha. Jnana means intellect, but
okay.
I feel like that's also our emotional body, because it's the body that's trying to make a story, like make sense of what we're doing here and why and how. And then the next body is the Mano Maya Kosha. Mano means mind. So all the thoughts, I got to do this, I got to do that, make a list of my to-do list, and all the daily thoughts.
Okay.
Then the next one is called the Prana Maya Kosha. Prana is energy. That's the subtle body, the aura.
Okay.
And then the physical body is called the Ana Maya Kosha, which means the food body. Ana means food. So literally, like, you are what you eat. In Ayurveda, it's so important, right? What you eat. It's called the food body, the Annamaya Kosha, which is what we can see. But I don't know, Todd, if it's like because I always say, like, in yoga at the end, we have Savasana, where you're integrating everything you just did. You have to lay still for at least 5 minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes, to integrate everything you just did to all the bodies. And then, but I always say, like, let the light body within you and without you do whatever is needed, like, to work its magic, because it knows what to do. It's the only one that knows what to do. So I always say, like, maybe it's in us. It's definitely in us, and it's definitely outside of us. So I'm not sure exactly where it
No,
is.
no, I don't know. It resonates with me. And then when you talk about the fifth body or the fourth body, that could be, that's what I was kind of visualizing, like the aura, right? Like the layers, like even layers, like, you know, of it as it expands. But there is, that is in me. I know it is.
Yeah.
And I've always known it. And I don't know why, again, too, this has come up in the last 2 or 3 days, not specifically explaining what you're explaining, but the way that I was engaging with the universal, right? Things were coming from here as opposed to coming from out here. And I was asking why. You know, so I don't know if this is the changing of the guard or the reversal or something happening. And because I know it can't just be me, these things are happening to. And there's so much stuff happening. And it happens all these different ways. So it's not always that easy, you know, to compare notes and go, oh, that happened to me. But yeah, something's definitely clicking, no doubt. So it ought to be interesting to see what happens in March and April.
Yeah.
We should get you to come back on and later in the year. And somebody had just mentioned Victoria, who is in the audience a lot on YouTube. That's lovely to have a fellow yogi on.
Oh.
And well, I think part of, because I mean, really, like even in the last few days, as I've been looking at different platforms, I've been amazed at what they're saying. They're talking about the same thing that we're all talking about. They're talking about ascension. They're talking about new earth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these are not
Sadhguru talks about it a lot too.
Does he really? I hadn't heard him talk about it. I had not heard him talk about it. I'll have to check him out. I'm
I
gonna check.
hadn't either, Todd. I like, we're all like, I guess, opening, because I hadn't heard, and
Yeah.
honestly, I tried. I don't know. Sometimes I don't even like the word guru. So I was like,
Yeah.
Anyway, Shivaratri just passed, right? And Sadhguru had this huge thing on YouTube. It went for like, I don't know, a couple days, I think. And it was really nice to hear what he was saying, because he's all about the new earth, you know.
Right.
And it was good.
That's amazing. I've seen like shorts of him. I watched most of his interview with Joe Rogan, which was interesting. But I felt like when I watched him on Rogan, which was probably 6 months ago, he was leaving something out. Like I was wanting to be Joe Rogan and ask him other questions because you know what I mean? Like he said some interesting things, but the things that we talk about weren't delved into to the degree. Like to have a conversation with someone like him or even an Amma would be so cool to talk about what they know of or what they think of in terms of the Anunnaki and the Sumerian thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or some of these other things. And one of the reasons I was saying, love for you to come back on is maybe we can kind of go through some of what your knowledge is in your learning with yoga.
Sure.
Because we've never really had anybody come on and speak in depth.
Oh,
you know.
Well, I just told you the most important things.
Oh well.
But we want to call out our light body, and to me, honestly, because I feel like, you know, the asanas, and this is just my opinion, the asanas are good. They're very good for us, but it's so limited. So like I'm more about the meditation, right? Anything that gets us to connect to our light body. But I'd love to share anything else, you know, and whenever.
That's cool. Well,
Good.
you know how things, yeah. Go ahead. It's a bit of a lag. You there?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I'd love to talk again.
Yeah, because I could.
And if anyone wants to do,
Go ahead.
If anyone, Todd, if anyone's interested to do chair yoga, I do a free chair yoga class every Monday morning.
Chair yoga?
Mhm.
That's probably one I
So-
could do. I could probably
Yeah.
do chair yoga. That's about the only one I could do. But
It's-
yeah. So anyone that's interested in doing chair yoga Mondays, how do they find you? How do they find you though? Because you're not on Facebook that much.
It's trunksupyoga.com. It's like an elephant with his trunk up. So it's just trunksupyoga.com.
Trunksupyoga.com or Majah Jacob on Facebook, although she didn't check it. And or you can just write me and I'll connect you with her because I have her email. But yeah, that would be cool. This was a cool day. I've enjoyed both of the shows, and even though we had all these tech issues, I just want to wish you and your family all blessings and all your endeavors. And thank you again for coming in and sharing space and honoring us with your presence.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, everyone. It's a blessing to be with everyone.
Peace out.